Here are 7 things I've learned since cycling more frequently. But first, if you are new to the channel, then welcome to Bikes and Laces. We are a running, cycling and multi-sports channel. We are a husband and wife duathlon relay team, and we post all sorts of nonsense every single week. So make sure to hit that subscribe. Why not drop us a comment down below to say hello, and come and check out the content that we post, as well as all the nonsense we get up to over on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. So today I'm sharing with you 7 things I've learned since I've had to start taking up cycling as a bit more of a frequent sport. The first one is that cycling shorts are key to comfort. So my first experience with cycling was actually doing spin sessions, which isn't the same as cycling on a normal bike outside or even indoors on the turbo trainer. They've both got a bit of a different feel to them. My first experience was on a spin bike, and they were pretty shortish sessions, so I always just wore leggings. After that, I started to invest in a pair of cycling shorts, but they weren't expensive, they were just kind of cheap ones. Now, I didn't really bother too much with the comfort aspect of the spin sessions because I spent a lot of time out of the saddle, they were really nice and short, and I was distracted by dancing to the music rather than actually working out. The cheap shorts, they did all right, and I used them when I had to start doing more cycling sessions at home because of being injured from running, but they weren't great. It's only when I got my first decent pair of shorts with an actual decent pad on it that I realised just how much of a difference they made to me being able to ride longer and a lot more comfortably. Point 2, the correct tool for adjusting a bike is an Allen key, not a husband. Okay, so this is one that's come about because of my coach, and this is actually something that he said to me because I have always fluttered my eyelashes and got Chris to make the adjustments on my bike. But after a few lessons from him and some helpful tips from YouTube, I can do a few minor adjustments myself, pretty much without damaging the bike too bad. Although I am still going to keep fluttering my eyelashes from time to time. Point number 3, cycling tips can guide you, but they are not a replacement for giving it a go. Everybody rides, recovers, sits, trains, and does things differently. But this doesn't mean that you have to go it alone. I have had cycling tips from other members of the coaching group that I'm part of, from my coach, from my husband, from members of the cycling club, and even from people that I've chatted to from various channels. And it's great having these tips, and one thing these tips can do is they give you the courage to go and try it. So I can use these tips, I can try them, and then I can make adjustments to suit me. This is a great way for guiding me in finding my own method of comfort, my own style of riding, and my own way of dealing with things as well. Sometimes someone will give me a tip and it will work perfectly. Other times someone gives me a tip and I need to adjust it a little bit. The general story is, make sure to get some advice from people, but make sure you give it a go and make adjustments to suit you. Proper cycling shoes with cleats are much better than trainers. So when I first started on the bike, I literally jumped on a bike and I only really had access to trainers, so that's where I did all my cycling. Now, one of the things I noticed when I was cycling on the trainers was I had quite a bit of problem with pain in my feet, pain in my legs, and I think it's because I was kind of tensing my toes, so I wasn't actually relaxing into cycling. I also found that I couldn't put as much power down as I'd started to notice when I actually got into proper cycling shoes. When I got the proper cycling shoes and the cleats, this problem with the pain started to sort itself, and it was really handy. So having the cleats on the shoes and the proper cycling shoes meant that I could clip in and I could push out a bit more power. It also meant I could actually relax into it, which was really handy. One thing I will say about riding with clip-in shoes and cleats on proper cycling shoes is make sure that when you do your first ride outside, you go out with somebody who knows what they're doing and practice near somewhere so that if you do fall off, you're not going to hurt yourself too badly. Saddles for cyclists are a little bit like trainers for runners. Everybody needs a different saddle. Okay, not literally everybody needs a completely different saddle to everybody else, but people work differently with different saddles. Much like having the correct shorts to be able to work better for comfort, having the correct saddle can also help as well. And a bit like how some running shoes work for some people and others work for others, saddles are the same. So have a bit of a try and have a bit of a play with some of the different saddles out there and the different styles as well. Again, you can go and get some tips and advice, but make sure that you try it out and give it a go. I've been through about 3 different saddles myself, and I'm still yet to find the one that's super comfortable, but I am currently on one that is a bit more comfortable than the very first one I rode on. Number 6, I am just as competitive in a virtual game as I am in real life. Okay, so I wasn't actually sure if I was going to be competitive when it got to Zwift, but it turns out I am. Chris and I have this habit, if ever we're out for a run together, that we will almost try and start to outpace each other as we're getting closer to home. And it isn't necessarily something where we go 3, 2, 1, go, but we are trying to up the ante and we are trying to push each other kind of outside that comfort zone, which is a little bit of fun. Now, I didn't think I would do this on Zwift, considering his power output is a lot higher than mine, but whenever we come to a sprint or the top of a king of a mountain, I will try and outpower him, normally ending up in failing. But it's nice to know that I've got that competitive streak, even in a virtual game. Okay, and the final one is that cycling brings out this demon inside of me that I just don't seem to have or utilise in running. So those who watched the check-in with my time trial will know what I mean. Those who don't, keep watching to the end of the video and you will see exactly what I'm on about when I say the demon. So whenever I'm running and I get to the end of the race, I will power through and I will normally push for a sprint. And I will have this power surge, but I think it's more out of desperation to get to the end so that I can finish and stop. In cycling though, it's a whole different ballgame. The power that I have in cycling when it gets to the end of something, or if I'm severely trying to chase someone down, is a lot more focused and targeted. So now that I know I have this there, all I really need to do is transfer it to my running skills. So there are 7 things I've learned about cycling. There are some things that are going to be handy to you, and there are some fun facts that you can find out all about me. Cycling has been my main go-to since I injured myself several months ago, but when I get back to running, I don't think I will fully drop the cycling side. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and why not drop us a comment down below and let us know exactly what you thought about the 7 things that I learned from cycling, and why not let us know what you've learned from cycling as well.
You are never, ever allowed to tell me off ever again.